Hello, we are very happy to have Vance Joy here today for an interview. He just released his EP Riptide, and for all of you who might not know who he is, here's a small hint. Woo! Enjoy.
Ow, D, O, feel. Boom, 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 boom. Ow, D, O, feel. Ow, D, O, feel. Ow, D, O, feel, feel, feel.
That's good. Like that, that's a good hint.
Yeah, because your single is really played very often in the German radio stations. But are you here today as Vance or as James?
I think I'm doing a bit of Vance today. I'm very relaxed right now, and I don't feel like I don't have any shows in Germany in the next few days, so probably more James actually. Have to be honest.
Okay, oh, that's good. I like to talk to James.
Yeah.
Is it helpful for you to have those two identities?
I think so. In terms of my career, it's only been a short time that I've been doing music, about a year and a half, and so I don't think that I'm very recognisable to people anyway. So it's not really a problem that I have people coming up to me or anything like that. I'm definitely not that big, but it's nice to just have a separation between me as who I am, James Keogh, and then have an alias to make music as. Like it's like a bit like having a band, and when you're in the band, you're playing, and you're a different thing, and then when you get off stage, you can just be yourself, and it's nice to feel grounded and to have a separation, just so that you can unwind and be a normal person. And you don't get confused. I'm a big rock star, or am I just a normal person?
Okay, so maybe if you go back to your previous job and become a lawyer, this might be easier because it is two different things you had.
Yeah, I agree. If I ended up working as a lawyer or in the legal field in some capacity, and someone saw James Keogh and that was like the guy that they recognised all the music, it's probably it would just be something I'd have to deal with constantly. So
It's
nice
more
to have,
serious.
Yeah, it's more serious. So
Yes.
it's nice to have a different name.
But it's a clever trick to study law before you sign the contract for your record company.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't a great law student. I tried my best,
Okay.
but I don't think that I was definitely not one of the better students. I just got by passing. So
you're a better singer, songwriter?
well, I like to think so. Yeah.
That's great.
I think I'm a better. It came more naturally to me.
Okay.
But writing music and studying law are so different. So I think all my time has been spent doing music. So when I look at a contract, it's basically still like reading a different language. It's very hard to remember how to read them, and so luckily I've got lawyers and people to help me when
Okay.
it comes to that stuff. Yeah.
You just signed a contract for 5 albums, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge burden for a young guy like you, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It is it's hard. I've never been someone who looks very far into the future, besides, a vague kind of look into the future where I think, I'd love to be able to play, for this size of audience, or I'd love to be able to play at this festival. But I never really think really long term in terms of what am I going to do in 10 years' time if I'm making my 4th album or something like that. It's really hard for me to think that far ahead because I'm so in the moment and so consumed by making my first album and completing that process. So I think, I'll just take it one album at a time, and I don't feel too much pressure. I feel like I will be, always creative and always be writing songs. So it's nice to have someone at least offering to say, well, we'll be with you if you want to continue to make music.
Sure.
I mean, obviously it's a balance, and if they like the music that I'm making, they'll support me. So yeah, so I feel supported more than a burden.
And as a professional football player, you might be used to pressure.
I think yeah. I mean, I played football in Australia, and I played at a semi-professional level. I wasn't completely professional, and I wasn't. Wasn't my whole life. But I think by playing competitive sport, you definitely learn to deal with pressure, and when you're playing sport in front of people, you're always putting yourself in front of people for criticism, and you're always performing. So it's a similar kind of repeated putting yourself out there into the world. So I think I had some experience in pressure, and I guess had a kind of developed a tough skin, which I think you need for being a performer in music or in anything creative.
And you're used to being exposed to people, right?
Yeah, exposed and vulnerable. Like if you play a bad game, your coach will say, "We'll have a video of you playing," and you'll say, "What did you do? Can you explain that?" And you'll say.
So you're responsible for the whole team. If they lose, it might be your fault.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, you definitely play a part in the winning, and you play a part in the losing as well. So, yeah, I like the idea of, like, it's a good word to say exposed, because you're standing on stage and you're exposing yourself, and when you're playing sport, you're exposing yourself, and so I think some people like feeling that way, and they like to be the person out the front, and some people prefer to be the people behind the people that are performing. So I like to be in the light. Yeah.
And the only responsible person.
Yeah, I think for the music, at least, I think I'm definitely at the center of it, because I write the songs and I'm the performer. So it's more pressure than being in a team sport, because when you're in a team sport, you can play well, and then someone else, you can rely on other people. But I still feel like I'm part of a team, because I've got my managers, I've got
and you're musicians,
and
right?
my musicians,
your band.
yeah, my band who tour with me and who help me to bring the songs into, I guess, they help me make the songs sound as good as they possibly can. So I'm always operating in a team, even though I get to get all the kind of photos and get to have attention.
You didn't raise with being on stage as a musician, right? You haven't played any instrument on stage as a kid. Has this been a difficult step to expose yourself to the audience by singing?
It definitely was. It wasn't something that I had done a lot of, and I hadn't sung and into microphones. Wasn't used to like a setup of a stage, so I think it probably my learning curve started later in life. Like I started learning about this stuff when I was about 24, whereas a lot of people who do music might start 15, 16, so that by the time that they're 24, they're a professional. And this, like, Lord is so young, but she's also, like, she's so accomplished, but also she's been doing it for a long time, or at least it appears that way, because she's amazing
but she has an aura.
Aura of like amazing confidence and self-assuredness. So I think that comes from experience. So I started a bit later, but I also feel confident on stage because I believe in the songs that I'm singing, because I write the songs, and when you write a song that you're proud of, you deliver it with as much passion and
I think this helps if you're proud of your songs.
Yeah, it helps. You don't have to fake it, and sometimes you might not feel like you love your song. It changes all the time, and so maybe you fake it a little bit, but mostly it's if you've written a song that you're proud of, and people enjoy listening to it, then you're always going to be giving it. You're always going to enjoy playing it for people, or at least. Most of the time you're going to enjoy it, and also really want it to sound as good as it possibly can, and say this is how this song should sound. So Yeah, that helps if you love your songs and you. So I feel like it has actually it's been okay, and I'm just learning as I go. Like every show, I get a bit better maybe, and it's a work in progress.
But I think this will never stop.
Never stop. Yeah, I agree.
At the moment, there are a lot of young singer-songwriters. Do you think there's a sort of renaissance of authentic, true music?
I don't know. I'm sure. I think there's always been great music coming out. It seems it's amazing that, it obviously, like you were saying, like your learning never stops, and great music is never going to stop being produced, which is a great idea. It's nice to think that constantly around the world there's songs being written that are great songs, and I don't know if there's. I feel I could say it feels like there's some special thing in the air, but maybe I'm paying more attention because I'm a musician and I hear about other songwriters and meet more songwriters, and I can say, oh wow, look how alive the music scene is because of all these people. But I think no matter what the format of a song, like a songwriter could be an electronic artist, it could be a folk artist. So I think music changes all the time, and genres can change, or we can find new categories for music. But I think the songwriting is always just a true thing that, just like any other art, will just constantly be produced by people.
I have absolutely no idea about the Australian music scene. Is it comparable with the US music scene, or the British or the European music scene, or do you have completely different artists?
I think it's different to the European scene in that I think that maybe just the sound. Like sometimes I hear sounds that, like, you watch like Eurovision or something, and not that that's like a perfect expression of European music at all, but it's just like you hear certain sounds that come from different cultures. And Australian music is probably more influenced by British and American artists, I think. So our sound is probably more aligned with acts from those countries. But I also think that there's definitely some acts, probably going back like a couple of decades, where you hear people singing very strong Australian accents and talking about Australian stories. And some of those songs are massive in Australia, and some of them do break out of Australia, but not always do they break out and have a wide-reaching effect. But I think recently a lot of Australian artists are known on the international level, like Tame Impala, a lot of acts like Flume or Chet Faker or Big Scary. It doesn't seem like they're just completely contained within Australia. They kind of have an international audience. Maybe that's because of the internet and because everyone's influenced by everyone else on a international level, as opposed to just hearing, when maybe there wasn't as much sharing of music on the internet, you just listen to your own little part of the world, and so a whole scene develops that just sounds like this, as opposed to, we have in Melbourne, we have people that sound like everyone else from the whole world. So I think there's an eclectic mix of music in Australia, and I think a lot of artists in Australia now that are, I guess, can mix it with international bands and have kind of have got an appeal beyond just Australia. They appeal to everyone from everywhere.
To have this international appeal.
Yeah.
But are you also influenced by traditional Australian music, or is there a huge Australian traditional music scene?
I think there's not in the sense of, there's not like, I think we have like songs that have been written just like the earliest settlers in Australia, and songs that I think date back to around that time or refer to that period of time. But I think a lot of those songs probably were borrowed or were written by people that had come from Ireland or Scotland or England. And and Australians like...
So no tribal music something like this?
Well, we have obviously, like, and that's why I feel like dumb saying that, because it's like for like 40,000 years Australia was like we had Aboriginal people who like had lived in Australia and like they are the original Australians, and so they have tribal music and they have like a whole world of music which still exists. And
do you know some of these tunes?
Well, like we know some of the songs, but it's almost like we don't have the right language to express it. Like we don't know. We can learn how to play a didgeridoo, which is a traditional instrument, but like it's like a different language almost. Like we don't speak the language.
Okay, so you don't have any contact with this music.
Well, it's hard. Like I don't think. No, it's not that we don't, but it's like Aboriginal people play their traditional music, and a Australian, like say a white Australian person wouldn't be able to produce like traditional Aboriginal music, but Aboriginal people, there's a lot of Aboriginal artists that sing like songs that are like influenced by they play like a song like Bob Dylan would sing, but they will sing a song that is about their traditional life or that is about their experience as an Aboriginal person. So I think
it's rather
that's a unique area of music which I guess only exists within Australia. That
so it's rather coexistence of two different cultures.
There's definitely coexistence of two different ones here.
And you prefer the ukulele instead of the didgeridoo, right?
I choose like to play the ukulele because it just seems to be an instrument that I gravitated towards, and I picked it up and it sounded good, and maybe it fits well with the way I sing as well. But I feel like I feel that I could just pick up anything, and you could pick up a piano and play it, or a ukulele and play it, or guitar. It's usually just that's the medium through which you communicate your song. But if you didn't have the ukulele, you just replace it with another instrument, and you could tell the same song and do the same thing, but it just wouldn't have that particular sound. Yeah.
But it's a little bit like a beach sound, easy
totally.
Hawaiian sound. So.
Yeah, and that's true. Like that instrument is a beautiful instrument, and it's light and it's very like you can create really nice rhythms on it, and I think that it is. Sometimes some songs will say this is the right instrument for that song. Like say Riptide was a song that sounds good on ukulele, and so when I played it on ukulele, it felt right.
Okay.
And other songs feel good on ukulele, and then some songs feel more like they should be on guitar, or some songs can be on anything, but it's nice to play them on piano. So the ukulele, it's a very versatile instrument, and
I thought you would bring it with you and sing
some
songs for me. Or we could sing together. This would be perfect.
Well, I heard you sing before.
When you are on tour in Germany, I want to be in the background and sing this for you.
Yes.
This would be so great.
The offer's on the table.
But for Riptide, I think it's rather a special word to have it as a title of a song. Has it been that you picked the word and thought, oh, I would like to write a song around this word, or how did it work?
Sometimes that happens. Like I wrote a song called Snaggletooth because I saw the word Snaggletooth and I was like, and it kind of got me thinking, and I guess it just stuck in my head.
And you liked the rhythm of the word and the sound, okay?
Yeah, and I like that. All those things jumped out at me. But with Riptide, I said it. I just said "lady running down the Riptide," and I just had it as a lyric. And then I guess the reason why I knew that word or had used it was because when I was younger, we used to go on beach holidays, and one of the places we stayed at, like the first cheap motel we stayed at this beachside kind of holiday destination, was a place called Riptide Motel.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe that. Having stayed there and I was familiar with that word, and so it was just in there in my head, and it came out at the right time, and I felt like when I was playing it, like it was, I was thinking about what to call the song, and I remember I had written the song and I went to work the next day and I just put a little video up and shown a few friends, just like the verse and chorus, And my friend was like, "Man, I love that song you showed me, like Riptide," and he just said it.
Okay.
Like he was the thing that jumped out to him, and the name of the song was Riptide. And so I feel like that's usually a strong indication of what you should call the song, because you listen to a song, you go, "What's that song called?" It's the one that goes Blue Eyes, and you're like, "Oh, that's what it's called," because it's like that's the thing that stands out.
Sure.
Yeah.
The first idea are mostly the best.
Yeah.
And are all your songs connected to your private life?
I think maybe say in some way they connect to your life, but I think mostly it's I usually just want to write good lines and melodies that I think sound good. So if they
What is first, the lyrics or the melody?
I think melody.
Okay.
I usually start with the melody and then stick words to it. So because it's that, it's hard to make. If if the story of your personal life doesn't fit with that melody, then you can't use it. And I'm not limited by that. And I don't think many songwriters are. It's kind of like sometimes you might have the personal experience that's perfect for that moment, but then sometimes you might have to blend your experience with something else to find the right words to fit into that melody. So I'm sure that there's some personal things in there, and it's just obviously it's all you, because it's the way you express yourself is very much reflection of you. But
that's the advantage of being a singer-songwriter, so you can write your own songs and not being limited on what the songwriters are presenting you.
Yeah, totally. It's nice to have that, and that's like we were saying before. It's nice to be performing your own songs, because I mean, if someone gives me a great song, then I'd love to sing it, and I'd probably sing it with just as much passion. Like there's songs when you sing a cover and you love the song, it's great to sing it because you feel it and you.
But do you have enough songs for a tour at the moment?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Or do you need some cover versions of other songs?
I've got enough, but I think a set is nice to have a cover in it, because, especially for a new artist, people don't recognise all your songs, and so you think, oh, everyone is going to love all my stuff, but if they haven't heard the songs, it's kind of, it might be hard for them to twitch their brain, and so my dad was always suggested playing covers, and I definitely think it's good.
But you are like a man, you are well known for your own song and not for a cover version as other artists, so that's perfect.
That's a good start.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
and we are looking forward to your album.
Yes, thank you very much.
And the tour in October.
Yes.
You'll be at Cologne, Hamburg and Berlin.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ow. D.
Awesome.
Oh.
Thank you.
Feel.
Pleasure, thank you.
Ow. D. Oh. Feel. Ow. D. Oh. Feel.